campaign based on hate. No one knew what she wanted to do for the nation. All that we knew is that she hated Donald Trump. She hated Americans and called them deplorables. And she lost that because of her non-ability to tell us what she was going to do for the nation. No one knew. All that we knew is that she hated, and hate always destroys you. If you're using hate to try to get your views across, you're not going anywhere. You're just showing what hate is. The only lesson that you're showing is hate. We don't even hear the words racist anymore as something that we need to react to or to do better at. Instead, what we hear is hate because we see Antifa, we see all of these countries out there. Now, not countries, but individuals out there fighting with hate. We hear hate on the Senate floor. We hear hate on the congressional floor. We hear hate from Maxine Waters. We hear hate from Osama bin Laden. His words are still out there. And his hate actions are still going on. And then we've got Maxine Waters, who is out there spreading hate every single day, calling everybody a racist. Even Ben Carson is a racist. He's part of the white clan, she says. When did people become so stupid to think that hate is going to solve anything? Hate has never solved one damn thing. It just creates more hate. It creates more lunatics to come out there and say, I hate people because they're racist. And they don't even know who those people are. We've got to get away from this hateful attitude. We should not even pay attention to people who say hate. They should become null and void. As soon as Maxine Waters calls people racist, she should become null and void. She shouldn't even be considered to be an individual of any substance. Because she has no substance. Individuals who stand on the congressional floor and call people racist and white trash and everything else and have become turning it around and made it a racist lie. Americans are better than what I'm seeing. The problem is that the people that we hear from are from California or from New York. The two most liberal states. But everybody in between, from Arizona all the way through over to the East Coast, think totally different. They think with a common sense view of how our politics should be and how our nation should be. They view the country as if we're trying to work for everybody, not just for one single state. California and New York, they think that everything that they say is gospel. There was a time that California was looked up to. But now, when we look at California, we look at it with disdain. America is a country where we need to get back to our basics. The so far to the left is destroying the mentality of our children. I was talking to my niece the other day, who lives up in Hayward, California. And she was taught by her teacher that Trump was evil and that Hillary Clinton was the one that should be. And I said, why? And she says, I said, why do you believe that Trump is so bad? And she says, because my teacher told me. Why? No answer. But just because somebody told her, now she believes that somebody's bad. That is not the education that we should be having in our public schools. Our public schools are to be able to speak out and to be able to debate and to be able to discuss and to be able to learn. It is not a one-sided learning event. It is a place where you see all pictures and should be able to discuss all things. If it was my child, I would probably have pulled him out of school and said, okay, enough. Even if somebody was to go over and say, Trump is the only answer and Hillary Clinton is hell, I would have pulled him out. Because you cannot be taking young people's lives and beginning to teach them only one way, one political view. It is looking at everything. And that is the problem with public school systems, is that they do not teach the history of our nation as it used to be taught. We have gone so far to the left that our history has become evil now to liberals. When our history is so rich in culture, rich in diversity, rich in creating a balanced life for Americans, and to protect them, to protect their freedom of speeches, protect them of the way that they believe in God. They are protected. And they want to take those protections away and make it against the law for you to believe in God, against the law for you to have freedom of speech. They want to take it away, so they send in Antifa and they attack you if you have any kind of event that they do not agree with. We've gone too far. I've talked so much in the last couple of weeks about hate and getting hate out of our conversations. If you cannot debate your point of view without calling people a hateful name, you have no point of view. Your point of view has become silenced by your hate. So for those of you who want to make a change within yourself. Change to say, okay, I'm going to stand up, but I'm not going to call people names. I am going to be able to know my subject, and I am going to debate it, and I'm going to debate it strongly. I'm not going to hurt anybody. I'm not going to attack anybody, but I'm going to debate my views the best that I can. And maybe in that process, I will also have an open mind to look at other people's points of view, and maybe we can come to a understanding of what is better for my community and my nation. But this hate is not going to go anywhere except to create more hate, and we've got to get away from that. Politics is evil. I mean, you have the most evil people running for politics, it seems like. You're never quite sure which side that they're going to be on from day to day. But we do know what our strengths are as individuals. We should know what our beliefs are. We should be able to articulate them professionally without calling people hateful names. And we should be able to listen to other people's points of views without feeling hate within ourselves. The word that comes out of our mouths should be quality and not hate. If you cannot argue your point of view, study up on it. Look at both sides so you know how both sides look at something. Don't go by what politicians are pushing on you. Don't go by what corrupt politicians who have an agenda. And let me tell you, political agendas do nothing for a nation. They only do something for that politician. Get away from these political agendas. Don't listen to them. Take the information and study as much as you possibly can on the subject that you feel strongly about. If you are going to mix it in with hate, then you don't know anything that what you're talking about or what you think that you know. We've got to get away from this very quickly. Otherwise, our nation is very much in peril. If you look at the state of California, the crime is up, the poverty is up, the taxes are up, and it's because of a political agenda of the far left. There's no one coming in between and saying, okay, let's look at the left and let's look at the right, and let's come to a common sense conclusion as to what the state needs. Instead, you have a political agenda that is driving things to go wrong. So I encourage each and every single one of you. Argue from the heart and not from hate. If you have hate in your heart, get rid of it very quickly. Re-examine your lives and your moral ethics and think how you want to be able to discuss these matters that you feel strongly about. Again, what I say, if you call people names of hateful, you have no argument. Maxine Waters is not even a viable candidate anymore because she has only hate in her heart. She has nothing to offer her community. Nothing. Gavin Newsom, the Lieutenant Governor of California, has put so many people in jeopardy through his city that had no rules in dealing with immigration, or criminals that had overstayed or who had committed crimes. He believed that their rights became more important than the law of the land. And individuals were killed by criminals who were there illegally. Those types of actions by liberal politicians puts everyone at risk because there's no common sense whatsoever. It's just a political agenda. We have got to start enforcing our laws. We need to start having more common sense debates. We have to get away from making our decisions based on hate and rather go to common sense decision making. And we've got to start enforcing the laws of a nation that was driven by independence. Independence is the most important word of our nation. The independence to believe, to speak, to function as an American. We can do better. We must do better. And we've got to cut out all of this hate and start coming to the middle and sitting down at the table with each other and discussing what America needs. Not what politicians need, but what Americans need. So that's my political ramble for today. Every Tuesday, I try to do what is called Political Tuesdays, where we talk about politics and taxes and everything else. I missed it because we were shut down because of Irma. We had no power for 2 days. But I'm going to get back to it. Because I think it's vital that we all begin discussing things in a very good way and not through hate. If you have any questions, you can write to me at mlodge, MLODGE, at LOD.